I want to congratulate Andrew Yang for running a good, clean campaign, but Yang has ended his campaign. Andrew Yang deciding yesterday to drop out of the presidential race after receiving just 2.8% of the vote in this week's New Hampshire Democratic primary. Andrew Yang said for many months he's not here just to run a good campaign. He's here to be the nominee and to defeat Donald Trump and to be president. And we knew months ago that he did not have a path to that nomination. Many of his supporters, good people, I'm sure, insisting via email and Twitter and Reddit and YouTube and all of those platforms, insisting to me that Yang will be the nominee. Iowa will be a catalyst for growth, which will propel him in New Hampshire, which will propel him in, you got the idea. This is the end of the road for Andrew Yang, however, sending a series of tweets yesterday saying, I am so proud of this campaign. Thank you to everyone who got us here. We'll be back, and retweeting his wife's tweet, quoting him, sort of like an Inception sort of thing, from his concession speech where he said, being your candidate has been the privilege of my life. This was the right move, and I'm glad that Andrew Yang has done the right thing mathematically. He did not have a shot at this point in time. He's clearing the space. I am glad that Andrew Yang ran, though. He appeared on the program early. Once he started getting more attention, he started ignoring us. Okay, I don't hold it against him. He still ran an issue-based campaign. We didn't have to agree about every policy. We didn't have to agree about the implementation of every single policy. But he ran on the issues, and he is gone. Now, in terms of other people that should drop out, looking at the results from last night, you've got Tom Steyer, who grabbed 3.6% of the vote in New Hampshire. But remember, Tom Steyer is actually polling really well in South Carolina because he's just been pouring money in. And Steyer likely is going to get delegates in South Carolina. So I think Steyer can justify staying in at least until South Carolina to see what kind of delegates he gets. See what happens then, and then decide if he has enough momentum to keep going into Super Tuesday or whether it's time to get out. He could pick up enough delegates in South Carolina to maybe end up with some negotiating power at the convention or to get some kind of an exit endorsement deal from a different candidate. I don't know, but he at least has a path to some delegates. Tulsi Gabbard yesterday got 3.3% of the vote. She should get out. Remember, Steyer is viable in South Carolina based on polling. Tulsi is not polling viable in any primary that I was able to find. Not only does Tulsi not have a path to the nomination, I don't see Tulsi having a path to a single delegate right now. I don't see any point in her staying in. She at least tweeted yesterday, late last night, that she's continuing, saying, quote, my deepest thanks goes out to all of our incredible supporters in New Hampshire and across the country. I am so grateful to you all. About to lay my head down here in Charleston, get a few hours sleep, and then continue sharing the message of our campaign in South Carolina and beyond. She should get out. Then you have Deval Patrick, who got 0.4% yesterday. Nice guy, our former governor here in Massachusetts. I've interviewed him a few times, even though every time he thinks my name is Mark, I don't hold that against him. But he should get out. And Michael Bennet last night actually getting out, announcing that he is ending his campaign for president. So really, Yang and Bennet already got out. Steyer is likely going to get some delegates in South Carolina, so I see him staying in. Makes sense. Tulsi and Deval should get out right away. Let me know what you think. Tomorrow, we are going to go through the math that increasingly points to a contested convention. And here's the really important thing to understand. If you are the Democratic establishment and your goal is not so much about we really want Joe to be the nominee versus we really want Amy to be the nominee. If your goal is just we don't want it to be Bernie and probably we don't want it to be Warren, you have an asymmetrical path to victory. It is very similar, and I used this analogy last week. If you are in a football game and you are up 7 points, you don't need to prevent the other team from scoring. You just need to prevent a touchdown. The other team needs a touchdown in order to win. So you have asymmetrical strategies. The offense needs to get over the goal line and get a touchdown because they're down 7. The defense can actually play a defense where you would even allow some gains and a field goal potentially, but you've got to make damn sure that there isn't a touchdown. That is the asymmetrical situation right now in terms of the progressives versus the establishment in the Democratic primary, as the cap to my Sharpie flies off. If you want to prevent Bernie from being the nominee, you know that superdelegates get to vote on the second round at the convention. You merely need to prevent Bernie from getting enough delegates to secure the nomination. So it doesn't really matter if the delegates all go to Biden or Amy, or if they split enough delegates to prevent Bernie from winning on the first ballot. Your path is simply to keep this thing going and keep people picking up enough delegates that Bernie doesn't get them all. Tomorrow, we're going to look at the math. We only have 2 primaries so far. But so far, if the same trend continues, if support does not consolidate, we are rapidly heading towards a convention in which there will likely be a second round of voting required. So that's on tomorrow's program. We'll have continued coverage of yesterday's New Hampshire results on our Instagram page. Make sure you're following us there at David Pakman Show. One of our sponsors is privacy.com. They're giving you $5 when you sign up for their completely free service at privacy.com/Pakman. I've been using Privacy for a little over a year now. You've heard me talk about it before. It's a lifesaver, and here's how it works. It takes just a couple of minutes to set up. Anytime you buy something online or on the phone, instead of actually using your real credit card number, the Privacy app and the browser plugin let you give each company a randomized virtual credit card number that you create out of thin air. It'll even autofill the card number with one click. And the payment is taken out of your checking account without the merchant ever knowing your real information. So this allows you to keep your banking information secure, but also to take control of your finances. You can create up to 12 of these virtual credit cards a month. You can set spending limits. You can freeze them. You can delete them anytime you want. So when you do this, it means you're not going to be charged when you don't want to be, because you can destroy the virtual card number right after using it, which, for instance, I love using free trials because I know I won't be charged when the trial is over if I use a virtual credit card number. You're keeping your identity private by not telling companies who you are. You're keeping your bank or credit card info protected against data breaches and identity theft. And it's free. There's no catch whatsoever. But if you want, Privacy also offers a $10 a month plan that gives you 1% cash back and lets you create 36 credit cards a month, and a $25 a month plan tailored more for small businesses where you can create 60 card numbers a month and much more. But definitely go ahead and at least get started with the free plan. You'll protect your financial info. Companies can't charge you unexpectedly. And like I said, you'll get $5 to spend when you sign up at privacy.com/Pakman.